Alright everybody, hello and welcome as always. I am Sean. This is TheFMEditor, episode 126. Happy new week, happy Monday, wherever in the world you happen to be watching. I hope you had a good weekend and got through some Football Manager content if you had that time up your sleeve. We are doing quite well. We've made our way into the new year now. We're in the middle of the January transfer window. There have been some departures, some players that we'll wave goodbye to. There's probably a thumbnail of me waving. It's goodbye, not hello, no matter what I've put there. And potentially having a look at the squad a little bit to see what we may potentially need to bring in for next season. Like, even though we are 6 months out from the end of the year, even though we do have a lot of targets and a lot of football left to be played before the end of the season, we do kind of 6 months in advance start planning for the next off season, so that it's not just random money being thrown out wherever else. We've identified targets, we've tracked them over time, we've tried to work the best price, and then negotiated the best contract available to us. So we are going to start having like one look towards that throughout the course of this week, and then we're also going to have some big fixtures as we try and secure, fingers, toes, arms, eyes, ears crossed, whatever you've got available, our first European competition with Isle of Man. We're going to jump in now and look at how we've gone over the last couple of games. So as you guys can see, just above my head here, we're currently sitting in 7th position. We are in a position though that a few different teams have played a different amount of games now due to European commitments. Liverpool and Tottenham being the main ones there. United's also a game behind. And Leeds, who are one game ahead of us, they're effectively another 3 points clear with the additional game on hand. I think they have against Brighton, which I would expect them to win. For us though, we're just holding on to that 7th spot. Bournemouth just behind us. Chelsea is still within a game as well. Norwich and Brighton a little bit of a further gap back. Our goal difference has improved quite a bit. We're at +8 now, but you can see a lot of the teams around us are at like 11 and 13 and whatever else. We need to hope that we can keep some clean sheets, score some goals, and take that goal difference out of the equation if we do draw level with people on points. 22 games played though, 11 wins, 4 draws, and 7 defeats in that period. Not bad considering we had about 5 defeats in the opening 10 games or so. And when you look at our schedule, of course, since that last episode, where we lost to Man City 2-1 and then had a 0-0 draw with Leeds in the FA Cup, we did draw with Bristol in the league, a very frustrating one. Bristol were bottom of the division, but it helped me kind of get a bit of clarity about what we need to do against teams that are going to drop off against us quite a bit, and what we're also going to try and do against teams higher up in the division, because we did manage to find the right tactical tweak to beat Manchester United away at Old Trafford. We did beat them previously a couple of seasons ago. We've gotten another great result today as well. Pablo Rivera getting the initial goal, a wonderful run and rounded the keeper and found the finish. He's starting to find his form in the Premier Division. They did drag us back, a 73rd minute penalty sloppily conceded by Jose Cedron at a time when we really didn't need to do anything. They hadn't really had any highlights up until that point. It increased the pressure quite a bit. We had subs come off the bench. Oru came on, Blore came on as well, and it was Elliot Blore with the 91st minute header to seal the points in that one and secure a famous away victory. The FA Cup replay, the third round replay against Leeds, we won 2-0 at home. Larry Ortiz, 2 goals in the opening 10 minutes, one a phenomenal run from inside his own half and a wonderful finish past a non-rushing goalkeeper to put us on our way. And then we got the sealer, and really we were in control the entire match. There weren't any real concerns about Leeds scoring at any point. And then our next game up, because that replay and the rescheduling and whatever else was again in the FA Cup, we rotated a little bit more for this one because we were playing lower division side in Championship Port Vale. A very comfortable 1-0 victory. We only got the 1 goal, but like we had 5 or 6 other chances. It wasn't really ever in doubt. Port Vale didn't challenge a tremendous amount. I think they had like 1 header from a corner, and that was pretty much it for the game. And then last time out, a 3-2 victory against Brentford. Now, this is where we've kind of clued in to what we're going to be trying to do in the second half of the season. We're going with a vertical tiki-taka in 2 different mentalities, just because it seems to be working out. I don't think the gegenpress was necessarily helping us in the games that I was trying to utilise it in. So we've got vertical tiki-taka on a positive mentality with shorter passing and a little bit higher of a defensive line. And then we've also got an attacking mentality, vertical tiki-taka, which is what we're using in games where we want to try and get those lower teams in the division to come out and play against us. We'll use the positive mentality, I think, for this first game against Man City, even though we are playing at home. But then when we play Norwich, who are in 10th spot, we might try and move to that attacking adjustment and see how that goes. And it's also going to position us in a really good position with our last 12 to 15 games of the league. So far, 2034 has been good to us, undefeated in that time, but, you know, famous last words. I never should say that when we're recording, because we will probably now get belted by Man City and lose to Norwich at the same time. As far as the transfers in and out, we've said goodbye to 2 absolute heroes of the save thus far. The first one, Javier Aguirre, it happened again. I will show you guys here before we have a look at his sale. He did it again. He was absent after going out to a nightclub in September, and that's when I cracked the shits at him. He did it again on the 7th of January this year, and once that second one came, I just thought, I can't be bothered with him anymore. We're going to put him on the transfer list. Eventually, we put him on there for £30 million. Brentford were the side that came in for him. He did actually play against us in the win against Brentford last time out. Didn't play particularly well either, which was a good vindication for us. And for a player we only spent 600k on 4 seasons ago, to sell him now for £30 million is a fantastic return on that investment. The other one, and this one's a little bit heavier at heart that we let him go, is George Escobar. He has been our captain for the last 3 seasons, 22 years of age now. We bought him for £1.5 million from Defence or Sporting back when we were in the Championship. He was, at the time, the highest transfer fee paid. We've smashed that out of the water now a whole bunch of times, but was an absolute beast for us in both seasons in the Championship. He's been fantastic for us the last couple of years in the Premier Division as well, but just this season wasn't quite playing at the rate and the level that I think he wanted to be playing as a 22-year-old player. And you can see he had dropped off just a little bit in terms of potential ability, only 3-star current ability, 3-star potential. We could have kept him around as a squad player, but really he's been such a good servant to us. I would have felt bad putting him on the bench or just keeping him as a squad rotation option. Frosinone, happy to pay £20 million for him, just straight up front. I will happily take that, and again, another really good return on our investment. It does mean the squad's down to about 20 players, which is fine. We can manage that throughout the course of the year. But the added challenge, and this one is purely down to my own stupidity, is that Selahattin Barber, the guy that we brought in from Fenerbahce to be our right wing back, has already played for 2 teams this year, which I didn't quite realise. He made a couple of appearances for Fenerbahce at the start of the season, before going on loan to Hamburger SV, where he was playing quite well, and that's actually where we found him in the Bundesliga. We bought him across for next to no money. I think we paid like $2 million up front and $9 million over the next 3 years. But because he's already played for 2 clubs in this calendar year, we can't actually register him to play. So he is registered, he's in the squad, but he's not going to be available until the off-season, which is frustrating. But at least he's going to be graded into the squad a little bit. Hopefully he'll develop a little bit further, hit this current ability to the 3 stars, become a wonder kid himself, and we get that little step closer towards a full 11 of wonder kid players. As far as the ages of the team, you can see Lua Barbosa's turned another year older, Jimmy Winter as well, Gary Lester. They are now transitioning just to being regular midfield players instead of wonder kids, but we'll continue to keep those guys around as squad options and, of course, in the starting lineup until the end of the season. As far as fitness goes, Elliot Blaw's got a bit of a knock, which is unfortunate given how well he's played over the last month or so. He'll be out for another 3 weeks. Medjadu also working his way back. I'm not going to risk him on the bench today. Same with Larry Ortiz, but hopefully they might be available for the game against Norwich because we've got a full week off before that match. Otherwise, it's a relatively strong lineup, but we will jump forward now and have a look at the 2 lineups against Man City. So, as you guys can see here for us, Mancini in goal, Carlos Andre at left wing back, Cedron at right wing back, and Mokhtar and Esteban, the defensive partnership. Esteban taking over as the club captain with the departure of George Escobar. He seemed well suited to it. He's been playing relatively well this season when he's been fit. He's progressing nicely as a player as well, already up to 3.5-star current ability for the 19-year-old. And he looks kind of like a Spanish John Cena, so why wouldn't you want to have him out there leading the squad? Henry and Leicester as the defensive partnership at the base of midfield. Henry has been absolutely magnificent, and Leicester has been very surprising, I think, in his performances so far this season, definitely adding a bit of steel to that midfield. Barbosa will play as the attacking midfielder ahead of them. Jimmy Winter will come in on the left wing. It's not his ideal position, but he can do a decent job for us out there. We might switch him to an inverted winger if he is struggling a little bit. Peacock has been fantastic over on the right-hand side, and Rivera, who's found his scoring boots over or up front. It's a very similar Man City squad to the one that beat us previously in the division. This time they are playing a 4-3-3. I think they go a 4-2-3-1 at home and a 4-3-3 away, judging by the difference in structure. The guys that tore us apart last time, the first one was Sean Brady, who had a wonderful assist in the build-up. 4.5-star current ability, 4.5-star potential, 22 years of age for the Irish international. He's something of an interesting one. He came through the City Academy. He had a few years out on loan where we came up against him previously at Cardiff and Swansea in the Championship. He spent a year in the Bundesliga as well before the last 2 years really making that right back spot his own in this City lineup. Pereira got a wonderful goal against us as well. Eventually the sealer, 21-year-old Argentine winger, 4.5-star current ability, 5-star potential. He looks to be a very, very, very promising wide player as well and having a good year for City. And the man who got the initial goal, Vacha up top, 24-year-old French international, 4.5-star current ability and potential ability. He was previously at Real Madrid, and they paid a fair amount of money, £186 million, to bring him across this season. They've already been returned 5 goals in 17 appearances. So not bereft of options, not bereft of cash to throw at people when they need. And that's in addition to all the other great players we know they've got, like Phil Foden, like Zhang Yu, like Owens, like Francois. Even Cerrone in goal is a very good player. We'll have to be our best to beat him, but we've beaten Arsenal this year, we've beaten Chelsea, we've beaten Manchester United away. I think we can get a good result. Assertively, we're going to say go out there and carry straight on from where you finished last match. Even though we are this time on just a positive mentality, we do want to try and play some decent football playing at home. And we are at our new stadium as well. I keep forgetting to mention it, and I might maybe in tomorrow's episode show you guys in a little bit of further detail in the 3D engine what it exactly looks like. Rivera with the ball in, Dyche with the header away. Vash is going to bring it down here, and he's in a 1v1 situation if he turns away here. Left-hand side, he's done well, but Mancini did very well with the save. I think it was just going wide, regardless of if it had a wriggle through. Ball with Henry now. He's looked over the top. Brady with the header back to Cerrone, who does quite well to come out and hold. We haven't had much in the way of chances created so far in the opening 18 minutes of the game. Cerrone's going to go short to Francois, now out to Brady. Their fullbacks push on very aggressively and very quickly in the transition. See Brady already rocketing up to be one of the highest players on the pitch. They're trying to drag us out here a little bit, and we need to not overcommit in the press. Peacock comes across. Now Pereira back to Pages in midfield. Zhang Yu, Foden, the furthest forward of the three midfield players. Flassate now at the left back. Just stand him up, boys. Now Pereira, who caused us all sorts of issues on the left wing last time out, goes back stick, and Owens thankfully heads over at far post. But you can see the difference in their mentality in this game as to what it was last time. They're definitely playing a lot wider, definitely trying to get the fullbacks more involved earlier in phases of play. Whereas last time it was more running through Phil Foden as a 10. We use our demand more shout here with about 10 minutes remaining in the half. Haven't been too many highlights for either side, but it's been all City in terms of the stats thus far. We have finally mustered a shot and a shot on target, which is good to see, but nothing that we saw in a highlight. Mancini resets from a goal kick here. Now to Mokhtar. We're going to try and bring them forward. It's a poor ball forward. Toby James squares it up to Vasha, and thankfully, a wonderful, wonderful challenge in there by the captain Esteban. Just got enough on it that Mancini was able to save and hold. We're going to assertively say, great opportunity to show the pundits they've been right to back you up, and we're going to end that team talk. I'm in two minds now. We could either go to our attacking mentality a bit and try and go after it a little bit more, or stick to positive and see if maybe Man City tweak some of their instructions, their tactics to try and get forward a little bit more and get the goal that their play has thus far deserved. I'm thinking maybe we give it 15 more minutes, and then if we're still at 0-0 and we're not creating chances, then we'll go to attacking with 30 minutes remaining. Quite a few players here struggling as well. Barbosa not having a good game, Winter struggling a little bit. Not too bad from the defensive line though. We need them at their best in the second half. Corner here, early in the second half. Peacock goes in. Vasha heads it away, only as far as Mokhtar. Looks for the switch. It's cleared by Brady. Winter's going to win the ball back. Esteban now to Leicester. We send Peacock out to the right-hand side. He does very well to keep that in play, actually. It was absolutely rocketed at him, and he goes to strike on his left leg. Didn't really ever look like it was going to challenge the goal, but at least we're getting involved. At least we're getting highlights. Right, we're through the hour mark now, and you've got to risk it to get the biscuit. We lost to Man City last time out. We want to try and get revenge for that result today. Barbosa's not having the greatest game. We might bring on Mariano Oru. What would Cambridge do in that sort of role? Yeah, nothing particularly interesting. So we'll bring on Oru as an advanced playmaker. And the other guy that's struggling is Jimmy Winter. I'm wondering if we might bring on Scott Phillips and play him as a winger on attack. It's not his ideal position, but at least fresh legs out there or some new ideas might help us quite a bit. And of course, he's a striker by trade, so he might be able to get his head on the back onto a backstick ball or something like that. We'll also use our get creative shout with 30 minutes remaining. Haven't seen much from City in this half, but it really is only going to take one chance for them to find the back of the net. Into the last 10 minutes, we're going to hit pause again. Let's use that last sub. Judging by player ratings, Peacock has struggled quite a bit. We haven't got anyone on the bench that I think could come on and do a job for him. We've really only got Cambridge there and Warburton, but the defensive line I don't really want to mess with. And the midfield too, Leicester and Henry aren't playing poorly. We might hold off on that last sub. We might just use a demand more shout with about 10 minutes remaining and see if the group that's currently out there can either see us through in the last 10 minutes or try and find some sort of goal. Ball starts with Cerrone here at the back, 88th minute played. Pages looks along towards Brescia. Looks like he's come off the bench for City. Dribbles forward. Someone's got to get to him. Henry with a good challenge, but Brady is there overlapping again. Phillips tracks him quite well. Phillips does very well to win the ball back in a good area. Henry finds Oru. Back to Mokhtar. Now Leicester. Now we have gotten goal side a little bit here. There's a few bodies around if we can pick the right pass. Phillips into the area. Can he square it up? It's cleared by Daesh, and now Brescia comes forward. It's end-to-end stuff here in the last few minutes. Just stand him up, boys. Don't do anything silly. And he's found the finish. Leandro Brescia, 4th goal of the season for him. And maybe we just got a little bit too distracted with trying to find the winning goal there. Maybe that's the downside of going to that attacking instruction, is that everybody burst forward. You can see like most of the team had pushed on to try and find that goal. The clearance just finds Brescia. And to be fair to him, it's a great run and a very good finish. He didn't have much to aim at. And he peels off towards the corner flag, no doubt, to celebrate wildly. Let's hit pause again. Let's use a get creative shout into injury time. Be very much against the run of play or stats if we pull anything back, and we haven't in the end. Brescia's late strike enough to win it for City. They had 19 shots, 7 on target, 43%. We only had 4 shots, 2 on target, 57% of the ball. Looking at the chances created, shots taken, all that sort of stuff, it makes sense that City won, but it doesn't make it any less bruising to concede late on and City do the double over us in the league this year. Assertively, not happy with the performance out there. At least everyone's responded positively, which is good to see. And you got to wonder, maybe if I had just stayed on positive for the last half an hour or so, would we have been able to hold on and get a point? Does mean we drop down to 9th spot. Chelsea go above us, also on 37 points. Bournemouth up on 39 points. And it looks like Leeds also won their game in hand. They moved to 41 points so far. Not miles away though. We're only 4 points behind 5th spot effectively with Liverpool, but it's the goal difference that again starts to sting us a little bit. Brasilia comes off the bench and gets the man of the match award for his goal. Tactically speaking, we're going to make that transition to our attacking structure earlier on in the game against Norwich. They aren't as good a side. We did beat them 1-0 last time we played. Aguirre with a free kick very early on in the season. We are playing them at home now as well, which I think is going to help us quite a bit. And hopefully some of these guys that have been struggling with injuries and knocks and whatever else will be back by the time we get forward to that match. I might clear out the entire lineup actually, and we might review who we're going to pick and how everyone's travelling before the next game. We'll give everybody one rest day. Even though there's a full week off, we have played quite a bit of football throughout the course of December and January. Magic of editing though, we're going to jump forward to the game and lineups against Norwich now. Alright, just like that, we are a week ahead. We have made a couple of changes. Ortiz comes back in on the left-hand side. Jimmy Winter did a serviceable job. Blore still out injured. We'll make that adjustment as we need to. We'll keep an eye on his fitness as the game wears on. And Phillips comes in up top. Rivera unfortunately picking up a knock throughout the course of the week, which will keep him out of the side. Otherwise, it's very much the same. We're going with our attacking structure in this tiki-taka, or vertical tiki-taka, I should say. And Norwich definitely kind of playing into that a little bit. They're setting up quite defensively. We'll play a ball around the back, hopefully get these wingers to commit. And just the one man up top should hopefully be easy for Mokhtar and Esteban to manage. Ainsley is that man. We have tried to buy Ainsley once or twice. He was originally a wonder kid coming through the Tottenham Academy, and it was when Wolves picked him up for £14 million that we tried to buy him back when we were in the Championship. In the end, he went with Wolves. Fair enough, he's playing Premier Division football, but they've kind of dropped off as a club. We've gotten a lot better. He made the move to Norwich for £55 million, has been in the Premier Division for 2 seasons, not quite hitting the heights I think were expected of him when he was initially coming through as a young English player. Over on the right-hand side here, they've got Rodrigo Martinez, their leading assist maker for the season, 21-year-old Argentine winger. Decent crossing, dribbling, and first touch for 3.5-star current ability, and 5-star potential. 2 holdouts from the original database still. They've got Kaká on the left wing here, 32 years of age now for the Brazilian winger. Solid, but not spectacular, 3-star ability. And then Maria playing at the 10, 32 years of age now, came through at the Sporting Gijon Academy at the start of the save. He went to Villarreal, then Real Madrid for a little bit, and now at Norwich for this season as his career starts to wind down a little bit. They'll have ability about him, but we should be doing teams like Norwich, especially at home. Passionately, great opportunity to show the pundits they've been right to back you up, and it seems to have done the trick. Now, what we really want to get is 3 points, because an episode where we don't get any points is always very frustrating for me personally. I'm not sure how it is for you guys as content. Some people might enjoy my pain, my suffering, and I guess long-term view, it will make our eventual Champions League, Premier League triumphs all the more dramatic. Nothing happening in the first half an hour here. Barbosa's picked up a yellow card as really the only item of note. We can use that get creative shout here with about 15 minutes remaining in the half. Again, we're struggling to create chances in the structure. Norwich might be a little bit better set up in terms of the opportunities they've had, but we haven't seen any highlights for either side just yet. We threw a minute of extra time, which no highlights in that first half. We've had 1 shot, not on target though, and 53% of the ball. Norwich 5 shots, 4 on target, 47%. I'm going to aggressively say not happy with that performance, and then we're also going to make, obviously not quite working at the moment, the attacking structure. We'll drop back to positive, and we'll see if we can't try and drag Norwich a little bit further out and break them down a little bit in transition. No players really from either side jumping out as having particularly good games either. It might just be a little bit of fatigue coming in as we get towards the end of the January period. But we're through an hour mark now. We're going to have to make some subs. Sorting by rating, Barbosa struggling. We'll bring on Oru, move him to be an advanced playmaker. Scott Phillips struggling as well. Can Jimmy Winter do a trick for us up top? Maybe we go him as an advanced forward. Peacock also struggling. Esteban not having a great game. Larry Ortiz not playing particularly well either. We'll have to give them the benefit of the doubt and tell them we've got faith in them. And then we're also going to use a get creative shout with about 30 minutes remaining. First highlight really of the game comes forward here. It's pinballing around in midfield. Oru has managed to pick it up. Henri now works it to Leicester. Now over to Cedron. We can work a 2v1 on the right-hand side if we move the ball quick enough. Cedron goes back inside to Leicester. Now to Henri. Peacock, who does beat a man quite regularly. Henri, Leicester, Oru, Peacock. Lovely little triangles in there. And Peacock's going to get an opportunity at goal. It's a decent effort, but Flavio in the Norwich net does quite well to come out and hold. Ball into midfield here. It's going to come out to Carlos Andre. And Henri again, who just works possession so very well. Mokhtar across to Esteban. Just drag the players across. Peacock now, right-hand side. Long ball forward to him. Can he find the cutback? Swears it to Winter. It's pinballing around, and we've managed to somehow sneak it in. I think it's going to go down as an own goal for Sam Wilkins. It was Winter with the initial strike. It was a very good save from Fabio, but the loose ball wriggling around in there. We'll check it out here in 3 dimensions. That ball from Mokhtar across to Peacock was very, very good. Gets to the byline, squares it up. Winter makes it first time, and then Wilkins' touch is horrific. He tries to dribble it back out and just runs it into the bottom corner for us. That might be that little bit of luck, that little stroke of fortune that we needed. 10 minutes remain now. We might look at making that last sub. Ortiz struggling a little bit. We might put on Medjidou as a winger on attack. It's not his preferred role, of course, being a fullback by trade. But we do have to keep an eye on Ortiz's fitness, particularly with Blore out injured at the moment. And we'll also use our demand more shout with about 10 minutes remaining. Look, I'd take a 1-0, but it doesn't make for the most exciting episode. Just the 1 goal scored for us. 3 minutes to be added on. We're through that now. And it's an own goal, but it's 3 points, and that's really the focus of what we need at the moment. 7 shots, 4 on target, 49% possession for us. 7 shots, 5 on target, 51% of the ball for Norwich. We're going to calmly say, a good win, boys. Well done. No need to get down on anybody. We want to keep morale as high as we possibly can for the time being. But not the most exciting episode we've ever done, if I'm being completely honest. Does East go to 8th spot? We jump back up above Bournemouth on 40 points. Chelsea just above us, also on 40 points, but they're plus 17 goal difference. Dwarfs our plus 8. Leeds in 6th spot, only 1 point ahead, and Liverpool 4 points ahead in 5th as well. Man City not miles away either, only 6 points ahead, but then there's a bit of a gap to Tottenham, who are on 52, United, who are on 53, and Southampton also on 53, on top of the division at the moment by way of goals scored. Gary Lister got the Man of the Match award, a 7.2 match rating, which kind of goes, only 7.2, kind of goes to show the type of game it actually was. Looks like Mokhtar's got a suspension. Looks like Peacock picked up a bit of a knock, so we might also try and use our rest days before the game against Watford next week. Looking forward in the schedule, we will probably go and play the games against Watford and Tottenham off screen and then come back for a double homestand, Wolves versus Aston Villa. I'll have to remind myself to put on the 3D camera from the start and maybe do the full match highlights so that we can go and really for the first time have a proper look at the FC Isle of Man Stadium and how the new ground looks. You will of course have to tune in to check out how we go in that one. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. That's the part that I appreciate the most. If you wanted to go that extra mile, do that extra bit for the channel, you can drop a like on this video. You can also subscribe to the channel to be kept up to date on all of our videos as they continue to be released in the lead up to FM21. I kind of lost momentum there. You ever watch like those gymnastic routines where a guy flies off the pole? I started the sentence strong, then flew off the pole, and then it was a disaster by the end of it. You can also check out, just over on that side, over there, our different links to our Twitter and our Twitch, which is where we have regular Sunday night streams, Sunday morning if you're in the UK, and of course on Twitter, all our interactions with the wonderful Football Manager community, of which you can be a part. Like I said at the start though, I just appreciate you guys watching. I've been Sean, and I'll see you all again in the mixer.